Hey everyone, it's Nat Walsh again for Cherished Cards. Today we've got another project for Leslie from Little Bits in Keysborough, Melbourne. We're going to use this darkroom door stencil, rectangle stencil. I think it's just called a small rectangle. And it's really great because you've got the two different, the outer and the inner part. What do we call them? The negative, positive and the negative. That's the word. We're also going to use this older stamp set, Full Bloom Volume 1. The great thing about Darkroom Door is they never really discontinue anything. Not that I've seen. I may totally lie for that, but from what I've been told previously, they don't actually sort of discontinue things. So we're going to mark this all down, and I'm going to put a little bit of painter's tape on this. What I'm going to do is use a pencil and just lightly outline the inner part of the square, of the rectangle. It's a rectangle. It's been a long night. Just bear with me. Anywho, so I took it off screen there for a minute, but here we go. We're going to lightly mark it all down. I'm going to then remove the stencil and I will then put some painter's tape. So I tried it the other way with just the tape, just to see what would happen and if it would work, and it's like, oh well, we'll see what happens. It did not work. So hence we are removing the tape. We're going to put the painter's tape up against our outline, and then we will stamp down the rose, and we'll stamp that twice. And it's nothing terribly swish. I'm not sort of bending the stem of the plant. We're just putting it down. So we'll place one here, and then I will stamp it again a little bit lower. And then we're going to use some white embossing powder. I knew it was powder. For some reason, my brain went the other way. So clearly, I didn't really need to outline the rest of it. And I didn't use my anti-static because, I don't know, Saturday afternoon, finished work, brain's not really working. I have outlined. We're just going to peel it very softly. You want to peel it back onto itself. Clean up any sort of mess that's left behind. Because, don't do what I did. Use your anti-static pad, people. It takes some special people not to do it. So, we're going to... Now, what I haven't shown you here is that I've rubbed it out, but I haven't I've rubbed out, I can still see like the indent, you know what I mean? Now, because we've used heat, and I think I grabbed the wrong cardstock for this, and it's warped a bit. So what I'm going to do is come back in with my painter's tape very shortly. Here we go. And we're going to stick it all down. So I've lined up with the indentations that I'd put down before. Rubbed out sort of the pencil line, but I can still see sort of the indentation, as I said, and also the flower, where the flower stops, with the bottom of the stem and the leaf as well. So we're going to stick all that down. I'm going to use some Distress Oxide inks because they're my favourite. So we've got antique linen, we've got the gathered twigs, and we've got mahogany, aged mahogany, and I'm also going to throw in some wild honey. Now, I did actually get this from a colour throwdown because I was a little bit, I knew what I wanted, but I wanted to try some different colours. So I just googled colour throwdown, and I think I will probably be doing a little bit more soon with some of the colour throwdowns, because some of the colours are just not colours I really would have thought about. So it gave me a bit of an idea of what I wanted to put together. So we're putting a bit of a layer down, and then coming back through with the lighter colour again. So we've just gathered twigs down. So then I went back through with the wild honey. Now I'm putting the aged mahogany down, and that blend actually looks pretty good. Wipe off all the excess and wipe it off the flower so it brings it back to a white. And we're going to clean that off a little bit. And that's just a clean, scrunched up tissue. I probably used it for something else. But until I'm happy with the blends, I just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Get rid of all my tape. Fluff a bit and clean it all up all over again. And here we go. So the edges of the stenciled part where we've inked it up weren't sharp, and they weren't going to be sharp. So what I'm going to do is frame that up, and I'm not being terribly, I'm making sure it's straight, but I'm not worried about going past the coloured, the inked up area. And it's just rough in the sense of where it finishes. Where it finishes is where it finishes. That be that, and that's all. I'm using a Copic multi-liner pen, a 0.1 multi-liner pen. And we're doing the 2 lines, moving it down a little bit, and then we've got the other one. And that just helps to frame it up and give it that finishing touch, that nice, neat. Go back in because I'm anal retentive about cleaning it all off. Sentiments. In the sentiments, we've got lots of little bits and pieces of happy birthday, best wishes. Do we have another one? Yes, thank you. Literally, it says thank you. There's lots of little flowers in here. I don't know, tulips, a couple of tulips, the rose. And what I'm going to say is a daisy, possibly. I really don't know, but to me it sort of looks like a daisy. Or maybe is it a gerb? What's it called? Let's just call it daisy. I don't know. You know, the one that starts with gerb, I don't know. Clearly I can't talk. So our sentiment is going outside of our frame a little bit. I just felt like that sort of was the best position for it. Now, out of my stash, I have little flat back pearls. I've got a little tray that I found online, and we're going to use some multi-matte medium to put those down, and a Marvy jewel picker tool. Yeah. I'm going to play around with it a little bit and figure out where I wanted everything and get the little suckers to turn around. That's the only problem I seem to sort of find with them. They flick over really, really easily when you're trying to put them down. And once I'm happy with it, then we will put it down, put some multi-matte medium under them. Here we go. I'm going to use a craft cardstock base. It's, I don't know what thickness it is. It's just some cardstock that I had. I don't really know where it could be from, but we're going to put that down. Well, we're going to put that down, yeah, of course, but we're going to stick the feature panel onto that. Just put it flat. We're not going to raise it up or anything. The feature, our panel is going to be 14.1 centimeters by 9.7, just so I have a little bit of extra color in the background. And that's pretty much it. So I'll link down below Leslie's information. She can get you all these bits and pieces. And I'll also have a link over to the blog for some more photos. I hope you like that. Relatively quick. And you probably heard the 5 minute to dinner call just then. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Goodbye.